And we are back. The Bronx Economic Development Corporation advocates for the borough's business community. Now, the corporation recently introduced the BX Factor 10K Small Business Challenge. It aims to support Bronx businesses that have historically struggled to secure capital. And here now, sharing more, we got the Director of Outreach at Bronx Economic Development Corporation, Marshall Strawbridge. And Marshall, pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we know that small business is really the lifeblood, really, of America, and right here, of course, in New York City, and more particularly here in the borough of the Bronx. When we look at small businesses, we know there's a lot of challenges, particularly coming out of COVID. We know that some people did not get that PPP that everybody else got, and some businesses were actually forced to close. But you guys have really done a great job of really helping to keep business be open.
Absolutely. So the announcement of the BX Factor comes shortly after State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli issued a report on the small business community in the South Bronx in particular. And one of the most interesting insights from that report was how well the Bronx maintained the growth that we saw from around 2011 to 2020 and kept that growth even through the pandemic. And that's not to say that there weren't challenges that businesses faced. And we are actively working to support businesses in terms of recovery. But I think that over the past decade plus, the small business community has demonstrated a tremendous amount of resilience here in the Bronx.
Yeah, and to that credit, you know, having that resilience to be able to keep their doors open, to be sustainable, and to kind of like really navigate through some of the most, I mean, arguably the most challenging time in many of our lives, right? But here we are today, and still opportunities are coming up for people to really get to come up, to become stronger. So talk to us about this 10K challenge.
Absolutely. So a marquee initiative that the Bronx CDC has been touting for the past year has been the $10 million loan fund that we launched last year in July. And while we're getting loans out the door and helping businesses through that way, some businesses aren't really in the position to take out a loan at the moment. And it's something that we've gotten feedback that we've gotten from a number of folks that we've interacted with. And so what this is an opportunity for us to do is to provide a no strings attached cash award to small businesses in the Bronx, and to do so in a way that not only gets them the money, but it's also going to be a showcase of the businesses that we have here. And so we're getting applications from all sorts of businesses, whether it's cutting edge, leading edge tech startups to generations old family-owned bakeries to artisan clothes makers working out of the Bronx Create Hub. So it's really an opportunity to celebrate the diversity and strength of the small business community that we have here.
So if I'm a small business watching this, say, listen, I really, you know, this may be up my alley. What am I doing, and what are the requirements?
So the requirements are very simple. It's a Bronx-based business, so if your business receives its mail in the Bronx, have fewer than 100 employees, and are currently operating, you qualify for this. And so the way the application process works is you can go to bxcdc.org, it's on our homepage, submit a short application, and from there we're going to select 5 finalists who will participate in a pitch competition in Bronx Week, where we'll have business leaders from the Bronx service judges to select a winner. Now the grand prize is $10,000, but everyone will walk away with a cash prize, each of those 5 finalists.
Wow. So for a business, 10,000 may not sound like a whole lot, but come on, let's be honest. For a small business, it can be life changing.
Right. So in the context of a $10 million loan fund, it's not a ton of money. But when I tell you the businesses that I speak with, the ideas that they have in terms of what they would do with the money, it's a significant contribution to their organization.
Yeah, because I mean, some people talk about sustainability, things that they want to do. What are some of the things you're hearing?
Whether it's replacing equipment or adding equipment to build out capacity, or putting money towards securing a space. So it runs the gamut. Storefront improvement. So they're really creative ideas that folks are coming up with in terms of how they would use the money to grow the work that their business can do.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one facet of the work that you guys do in terms of really helping small businesses be able to push throughout the course of the whole year long. When you talk about how you've helped out throughout the course of your role in small business, how would you define it?
Sure. So my role at Bronx CDC is to make businesses aware of the programs that we have to offer and how they can take advantage of them, and also connecting them to broader resources that are available to small businesses that are available from the city, state, and federal programs as well. So We've had a couple of really significant wins on that front. One in particular that I want to highlight is the storefront improvement program on 161st Street. We just awarded 12 grants of around $50,000 to $75,000 for storefront improvement on the Yankee Stadium corridor, and you're going to start seeing the transformation of that area before the season starts.
That's awesome. And when we talk about having a transformation like that, that doesn't just do something for that business owner, right? That does something for the community.
Right, right. It creates a more welcoming, a more energized community, and a place where not only that business will thrive, but other businesses can come in as well and do well.
Yeah. When you hear about the challenges that small businesses have, one of the things I hear all the time is, in having conversation, is that access to capital.
Yep.
And access to resources, right?
Yep.
How are you managing being able to bridge that gap? Because we know the access to resources is huge, and getting those answers and their hands on something
Yep.
can sometimes seem like a long, long stretch.
Yes. So a lot of times there is a technical assistance need. And so we lean very heavily on our partners in this building at the Small Business Development Center here at Lehman College, the Business Solutions Center on Fordham Road. And so we have a working relationship with those institutions to figure out what's the space between where the businesses are now and loan readiness, communicating that to those technical assistance providers, and then having them come back once they are at the starting line to do a deal.
Yeah. Let me go back to the top before I get out of here. What's the deadline for somebody who's trying to get that 10K?
The deadline is March 15th.
All right. Marshall, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Pleasure.
Listen, now, if you want more information, visit the website bxedc.org/BX-Factor.